One. We're live.
Hey, welcome back to Riot On The Raritan with our hosts, Mr. Justin and I'm Ted. It's been a long time since our last pod. Life craziness has gotten in the way. But hey, we're back, man. We're back. Like, what you been up to, dude?
Just trying to level set, get ready for 2026. Now the campaign.
Oh, I know.
So sinking into hoops, trying to get back on different fitness routines, prepare for the new year, and hopefully it's prosperous. Get ready for the year of the horse after I'm done shedding all my year of the snake skin. What?
Exactly. You're molting. You're molting like an insect. Man, yeah. Well, obviously my living arrangements has changed. So I'm living abroad currently. It's always dark in this hotel room, but nonetheless, I mean, hey, I guess we'll just dive right into it, man. We hadn't really had a chance to talk about, like, what was it, the last three games, I think.
Yeah. So we kind
Yeah, the last three games. I mean, we already knew what Ohio State was going to be. Um, and it is what it is. The Maryland game started off very concerning with the opening. What was it, like a 67-yard Malik Washington read option run? Where I don't even really think we need to go into it. Like, we've already criticized position groups enough this season. I don't want to be too brutal, but there was a clear misread on the play, and Malik Washington, busted free for a 67-yard touchdown. And I think that, dude, the big one is just, dude, the Penn State game.
Yeah, I mean the good was up for Frank for Maryland, where Antoine Raymond going up for 240. Eight
Yep.
four touchdowns. Thrown off. KJ Duff having 127 receiving yards. Two
Oh yeah.
plays.
But I mean, yeah, at the end of the year, I mean, just feel like the fan base is pretty downtrodden towards the end of the season. The Penn State game was the opportunity to have maybe some kind of, I wouldn't say like an icing on the cake, because this season didn't really have cake, so to speak, but it would have made the hardships that we've endured um, throughout the season be a lot more tolerable, I guess, is a way to explain it. And it's just, I think I've said it at least two or three times on the pod here. It's just another, like, classic Rutgers moment, you know. I mean, Ethan's been great all season. It was a fluke play. Like, I'm not going to sit here and hate on Ethan, but it's just so, it just seems so Rutgers. Like, we just can't get a play when we need a play, and that's the perfect example. KJ Duff with the absolute catch of the year. I mean, nonsensical, like, absolutely mind blowing, astronomical catch, falling, diving backwards, one handed, just absolutely insane. Um, but then we just fell apart at the end. We just fell apart at the end, and we couldn't close it out at home against a downtrodden Penn State team. They didn't have a head coach. It just it's just tough. But um, I mean, the offseason has been nuts too. I mean, they fired both defensive coordinators. Rob Smith. I still to this day don't understand why we hired him back in the first place. I mean, Shiano has fired him, what, I think it was twice previously, and then he's pretty much gotten fired at every single position that he's held, aside from being an analyst, because I believe an analyst position is like a non fireable position somehow, some way. Uh, and and then we just brought him back. Like, what did we think was going to happen?
Yeah, it's the. I feel like sometimes the Shiano networking. A lot of those guys. I saw Rowe left today. Not left. Didn't leave today. I saw he was dismissed or he
Yeah,
left
he left, I think, two days ago to go be the quarterback coach at
Cincinnati, right?
Cincinnati. Yeah,
And I think it's
which
kind
makes sense as to why Masco left, and then so did the four-star recruit from 2024's class. That I think
and
I don't remember.
too.
I don't remember
David
his name.
Bowie leaving too, entering the portal today is kind of a big hit. I think that surprises me as well.
But does it really?
Yes and no. I know he got some recognition. Like I don't know if he got second team All Big Ten or some honorable mention this year. But to me, I kind of when you see a defense as for lack of better words, I don't want to say atrocious, but let's use atrocious for this
I mean, I'll
this
say
year.
it.
You
I'll
know,
say it for you. They were atrocious.
and and it's every position. So or every position on the field, every group. So I wonder what was their mindset going? If you couldn't be productive or you feel like Rutgers can't rebuild the defense, where do you hope to go from here? Or do you hope to build off somewhere like, hey, Mohamed Toure was great here. Look, he went to Miami and he's a standout wherever he goes. So that
I mean,
that
I can tell you right now. I mean, a good start would be to have any any amount of increased production on defense next season. That's a W.
yeah. Well, I mean, even from
We
our
couldn't we couldn't
class,
stop the run. We couldn't stop scrambling quarterbacks. Don't even get me started on the passing game. I mean, bros are just open at all times. It wasn't even like they were making contested catches, which I could, if we're playing against some kind of elite wide receiver who has aspirations of being a higher echelon draft pick, a la like a Ian Strong making contested catches. Yeah, sure, but the catches that these guys were making all season long, they were open by 20 yards every time.
do you think the only player in a way he had great tackling stats this year, even though our secondary was picked apart all season? How do you feel about Jet Elad at the next level?
Do I? What do you mean? Like, do I think he's gonna be
Do you think
successful,
do you think
or?
he'll get signed? He'll be successful? Potentially could develop into something?
I mean, I don't really know. Quite honestly, we were what, his third team
I know he's
in
a
college.
state before, right? I don't know where he was before that.
I know he was at what he said he was at UNLV, but I'm pretty sure he was somewhere prior to that as well. Um, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a far thought possibility that he gets UDFA status on a team somewhere. Will he develop into something in the NFL worth of a starting safety spot? I just don't think so. It's the honest truth.
Yeah, maybe
I think
the
I
roster.
think in all I think this, and I've been critical of Jet Elad all season. I've been critical of the safeties all season. And I honestly think that the amount of effort that we put in to make sure that we could pay him. You know what? I don't even care anymore. That's fine. I'm going to be critical of players because they're getting money. They're making more money than both of us to play college football. So I guess that's what they signed up for. We get to be critical of them. I think the amount of effort that we put in to pay him to come play on our defense significantly outweighs the production that he put forth on the field. And that's just the honest truth. I mean, on an abysmal defense, we had this guy that came in. He was supposed to be a difference maker, and he just wasn't. I mean, how much can one person really do on an 11-man field on defense? I'm not going to sit here and say it's all on him, but you have your head coach testifying in federal court to get him to come to the school so that you could give him money. It wasn't like oh, we're gonna go try to get him an extra year eligibility, um, so that he could come to the school and help our defense. It was, we're gonna put in all this effort and time and probably money so that we can go ahead and then pay him money to play on the team.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
he was, yeah, he made
money.
tackles. Cool, man. He made tackles. That's great. That's your job. He'd also be the one when we're getting blown out by 15, 20 points, making a big hit on the sideline that we just gave up on, like a 25-yard play, and he's over there trying to flex on dudes. I don't know. That's just not the Rutgers. That's not the Rutgers vibe that I get. That we've grown accustomed to. That's not the Rutgers vibe. Like, you don't you flex on dudes when you're getting destroyed after you just gave up a 15, 20-yard blown coverage play, and then you came from across the field and blew dude up on the sideline, and then you try to pretend that you were the one that made some epic play.
Yeah, and that's not even like Shiano's kind of wheelhouse too. I mean, at least Shiano's always been big in sportsmanship and not silly penalties. But then yeah, I mean he's always been a defensive mastermind too, and this year was even last year not a showing of it.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, the whole defense was just a shell of itself from last season. Granted, yes, we lost a ton of players, but we also brought back a decent amount of players as well, and I just don't know what the deal was. I mean, obviously, we didn't have any kind of a pass rush, which is problematic. Um, but I also think it is just, you could go all three levels. Safety play, terrible eye discipline, getting burned on double routes, getting burned on fake plays. Same thing with the linebackers. Taking terrible angles, getting burned on read options. Um, Not to mention when they blitzed Jabome, he would always, and this isn't on him. It's definitely on the coaching staff at this point. But he would always crouch up on the line of scrimmage. Like, why are we doing that? Every single time that they would blitz him, he would line up over center or over one of the guards, which he gives up easily 50 pounds to. He removes all aspects of any advantage that you would gain from having momentum and speed and ability to, make a move. They would line our linebackers up. They would just go be like an extra defensive lineman. And then what would happen? They would get blocked by someone that outweighs them by 70 pounds. And the running play more or less would, usually be successful. And that's not on them.
Well,
I think I'm most concerned with Sam Robinson transferring and how Moses Walker is going to come back next year after the injury. Those are going to be the big things. And I know we got some straight dogs. We have some straight dogs that are waiting to play linebacker, and I'm excited for it. It's just, can we find a D coordinator that, number one, can keep them, and number two, can implement them to their strengths? Kamari Archie is uh, a stud.
yeah, I'm waiting to see him on the field. I saw some of the other backups, a few transferred. The only thing that kind of makes me not worry a little bit is that a lot of people we've gotten rid of, coaches, have been signed already to other places. San Diego State, Cincinnati.
Yep.
What is the holdup for us is, Shiano going to go back to, his network, his people, or are we going to go in, somewhere fresh and just try to bring in,
And I'm glad that you mentioned
with the
that, because that
name because we have the
of all the flaws that I could criticize Shiano for, is he always wants to get people that will bend the knee to him. We don't ever reach out and try to, grab somebody. You know what I mean? And I actually had one of my cousins is a big University of Florida fan, and obviously, the Billy Napier experiment didn't work out. But what I was explaining to them was, hey, listen, Billy Napier, young coach, was successful at a small program. I 100 times out of 100 would take that chance. Hey, let's try this guy, because in the event that you hit and he becomes super successful, that's a W, rather than what it seems that Shiano continues to do is, "All right, I'll bring this guy that I've worked with back because he I feel like he's a control freak."
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's always kind of been his way or the highway, so to speak. I know he's always super big on compliance and security and having his own people that have come up under his program or his reign. So I mean, even with defense, people have talked about either Scott Malone and Charlie Newton, and it's nothing against them. They both have been successful defensive linemen at Rutgers, and I know they're very tacticians, and I'm sure they're great player coaches because they played the game, they played at Rutgers, they know the program, they know the experience. But in this game right now, with money being on the line, you know, Rutgers is always kind of a little bit more challenging with recruiting, and Charlotte can recruit well. What do we do to bring in a name? A coach with a name, a background, has a resume. The kids are going to want to go and say, "I want to play for this."
Like even Sparber, like Rob Smith, I'm cool. Get this man out of here. But like, I still feel like hey, I honestly wouldn't have been mad if they just gave Sparber a shot at this point, because he already got rehired. Like, and what percentage of plays was Sparber actually calling? I would say probably like a very, very low percentage. So the fact that they fired him and then I'm pretty sure we're paying him a buyout of his deal, and he already got rehired elsewhere, and we're still looking for a deco. Like, what are we doing?
Well, yeah, even the position coaches too. If we hire a new deco, are we going to allow them to kind of bring in maybe some of their own people, or is it going to be same thing?
I feel like you have to at this point in time. Shiano's got to just relinquish that shit.
I'm not sure if
Like he's got a
still involved.
decentralized command. His command philosophy is everyone has to be here, and we all have to be underneath my umbrella, and I have to control everything. Like, it's not like that anymore. Let your defensive coordinator do his thing. Let your offensive coordinator do his thing. And then obviously if it's an absolute disaster, then you can go ahead and decide what your move is from that point moving forward. But at the end of the day, I cannot stand by and allow them to hire somebody that is just somebody that worked with Shiano in the past, or was one of these guys that's just going to be a pushover.
Yeah, and that happens a lot too. And now there's a lot of
Like, find some guy for one of these low school programs. I don't even care. Take a shot on somebody. I would be way more pleased with taking a shot on an unknown rather than settling for a subpar known, if that makes sense.
even schools that you see
Because
guys.
we're not gonna be able to progress if we continue that trajectory.
But you see some of the changes Indiana's made. Even schools see like James Madison, how far they've gone.
Uh-huh.
We could do to kind of rearrange things. How do you feel about the O line hiring? Jim Turner. He's got a resume. Credentials.
Bro, I love it. I
Renowned.
love it.
There's
I'm
some
all for it.
criticisms, but
Whatever.
you can bring it
It's the
high.
it's the NFL, man. It was the NFL. It's college football. Like, what do you expect? You're not going to find somebody who's you know soft around the edges that's going to make your linemen into what you need them to be. Now, granted, I don't know what the goofy allegations were. I think it was either at A&M or one of the, I think it was like Central Michigan or something. I don't remember. But I will say this, from all studies, the bullying that happened between I think it was Martin and what's the dude? I forget his name. The Dolphins. It was all found to be,
Oh,
approved.
Richie Incognito,
Yeah,
maybe.
incognito. They basically
Yeah.
blacklisted this man from the league, and then it later came out that it was all pretty much fake. Well, I wouldn't say fake, but it was unsubstantiated. So I mean, I'm all for it. This guy's got a ton of NFL experience. He's got a ton of guys that he has put into the NFL from the offensive line. So I'm fine. I'm cool with it. I mean, it is what it is. If he comes to Rutgers and there's some huge scandal, I mean, then I guess I'll eat my words.
You know,
But
even like a guy like him, you think about all the people he knows in his network, defensive guys,
exactly,
be able to bring.
all the training, all the trainers, all the stuff. He's just like a pipeline guy.
And you know,
Uh,
Jim,
t-
able to bring like
TKR went down his resume of bros that he sent to the league. He's got like 9 guys. He's got like at least 9 dudes in the NFL from the offensive line.
even for like
Centers,
A's,
centers, guards, tackles, the whole thing.
and even like I feel like key renowned like critical coaches when they bring in like that, they also find guys sometimes they can bring in as like GAs, player development guys that just want like an opportunity that are great that they know. Like
Yep.
in the past, I mean, when Shane first went to Tampa Bay, we brought coaches from all over, some from smaller schools, but we even had NFL guys from other schools or like great players that played at Maryland that want to come back and see Coach Powers or Coach Brock and other people. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we can bring the spotlight to them, like, hey, you have a chance to like keep putting guys in the
Yo,
NFL.
bring AD back. Bring AD back.
Yeah, I'd be for it.
Bring me some AD back, man. Shoot.
Well, I think Menungai, he's definitely spotlighting. I love seeing at least the Rutgers guys doing some stuff on Sundays. The more that the rookie exposure people are knowing, at least they're saying Rutgers is a
We need somebody to like become a star. That's what we need. We had it in Rice for a while until the unfortunate Atlantic City incident. But like we need a star, dude. We need like somebody that's out there that's like killing it in the league. And I'm not saying that we don't have dudes that are not performing exceptionally, but we don't have someone that has like the national attention the way that Ray Rice had it
do you think
when he was
you
playing for
see
the
it from
Ravens.
a Duff or a
I
Strong?
mean, yeah, dude, I can see it. I can see it from Duff or Strong. And I mean, the rumor mill is that they're it's high. It's likely highly positive trending that they're going to come back. Um, I wasn't too sure about Strong, because he was templated to go like relatively high in the draft early season. But I think with injuries and not trying to make it be like a him versus Duff deal, but like Duff blew the fuck up, and his production significantly waned towards the end of the season. Uh, I think that if Strong was able to, not have that lingering, I think it was his ankle injury that hit him. Maybe like game 3, was it like game 4? I think game 3 or 4, like the Iowa game.
Yeah, I was in Iowa. He sat out one game too.
Yes, and I feel like after that happened, he like tried to play, couldn't play, and then when he came back, he just wasn't really like the same. And that's when Duff like literally just took off like a rocket ship, which I'm not mad at whatsoever. But I think that if he hadn't gotten banged up in that Ohio, I think it was the Ohio University game. Um, if he hadn't gotten banged up in that game, I think that he was able to continue, the trajectory that he was on. I think that he probably would have gone and tested the waters for the NFL draft. But that's not to say that I mean, historically, Rutgers guys that get drafted very well or highly and are very successful, they blow up at the combine. They put up stats at the combine. A pristine example of this is Pacheco. He was on an absolutely terrible offensive Rutgers team. Terrible. They couldn't run the ball. We were losing a ton of games. We had no offense. Defense. That was when it was 180 from where we're at right now. You know what I mean? And he went to the combine and he put up just an absolute master class of a performance. Elite 40 times, solid physicals, solid measurables. You know,
Oh, job, yeah.
the Chiefs took a chance on him, and hey, it's all they wrote. Like he's pretty much solidified himself as their running back for the foreseeable future.
Izzy and two.
Um,
Even actually people don't realize Marcus Cooper when he was almost defensive rookie of the year, behind Aaron Donald. He was even starting at Rutgers. He was rotating in at that cornerback.
mhm.
He ran a 4.240 at the combine.
Yep.
5.42. So I mean, that athleticism, the size, it gave him opportunities. He played in the NFL for a few years. I think he started for
Yeah.
at least two.
Bo Melton still finding his way around the league. They switched him to cornerback for a minute, and then he's been getting burned at wide receiver again now in Green Bay. His brother is still playing. I think he's still the starter at in Arizona, if
Max.
I'm not mistaken. Obviously, he had the ACL injury. I think it was not last season, but the season before that. But yeah, it's just me being greedy. Like I just want to see, a Rutgers person. You'll be a star. You know what I
Well,
mean?
when with the Belichick era, it's kind of hard to replicate something like that when he had 4 or 5 guys.
Oh,
Rockers,
The McCory
McCourty,
twins, Teron
Harmon,
Logan
Logan Ryan,
Ryan, all these
Silvestro
dudes.
at one point.
Mm, yes,
Steve
yes,
Harness, I
yes,
think
yes.
he was on the team, but there's been some other guys. I don't know if George Johnson ever was under Belichick, or I don't think Kevin Brock or any of those guys were, but I'm missing one person.
I don't know. There's a bunch of people on that team, but I think the big thing
Sanu
moving
later
forward is
on,
is
yeah,
what are our expectations for next season? Let's look at what their schedule is.
for football.
Um, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head,
Actually, I didn't
but
put out the football schedule for next season.
um,
Gotta keep our eye on the transfer portal too.
let's see here. 2026. We got UMass. We gotta have our old defensive coordinator is gonna head coach there now. Got UMass, Boston, Howard, uh, Maryland, which is early in the season this year, which is relatively strange. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, the schedule looks favorable for us. We got UMass, BC, Howard, Maryland, Northwestern, Penn State, Indiana, which is going to be tough. Michigan, probably going to be tough. We got Michigan State, Nebraska, whose starting quarterback is leaving in the portal, USC, and Wisconsin. And we have UMass at home, Howard at home, Indiana's home, Michigan's home, Michigan State's home, Nebraska's home, USC. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a 5-game home stretch at the tail end of our Big Ten schedule.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. I mean, Indiana's tough. Michigan's tough. Michigan State. I mean, Nebraska going there. Then USC. So I mean, that's as a fan, I'll be out of country actually for 2 weekends in October, so I'll miss two of them. But it's nice to it's exciting for tailgating. I feel like the fan experience, for next year, if you're allocating your time, end of October through November, but that is definitely kind of an interesting schedule. I mean, it's nice to have all the home games at the end, then away at Wisconsin.
And Wisconsin's kind of down bad. Granted, we have not had a good track record playing against Wisconsin in recent memory. But yeah, I think the big thing for next season is going to be. I'll break it down in threefold. Next season, let's go defense, offense. Three biggest takeaways. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
All right, so three biggest takeaways: defense, offense. I'll go offense first. I completely forgot about AJ Serace. I had it all. I had it all planned out in my head. Um, all right, so number one, I think the biggest thing is going to be the return. Who returns? Right? Do we get the big three back? I'm going to call them the big three. We're going to get. Do we get Duff, Strong, Antoine Raymond back? I think that's the number one thing that we need to focus on, and that's a linchpin of how this next season's going to go. Can we get Duff, Strong, and Raymond back? Number two, I'm going to go with the offensive line. Does Ryder Langsdale come back? Does he start at left tackle? Dante Chin, Asmoa. How does Felter's younger brother play? Is he going to become the starting center? We had a lot of questions at the offensive line. We're losing a lot of depth at the offensive line, and we have a lot of dudes that have played out of necessity over the course of this season. But I think it's a big thing to consider is how they work that. Obviously, the new offensive line coach. Do we bring anybody in the portal? We still have a lot of dudes. I know the 2026 class, or I think it's 2025. We went pretty heavy on offensive linemen, and so that'll be a big thing moving forward. Is how that group meshes together. And then I think the third one is the probably the biggest individual question mark on the offense, and what we need to, I don't want to say put the whole thing on, but is AJ Serace, you know, solid arm talent. He knows football, but just hasn't played. So I can't sit here and honestly say that we can expect him to just sling the pill to two studs on the outside. Um, I guess a three alpha would be who fills the DT Sheffield role. Are we going to see a step up from Ben Black? I mean, I love Ben Black. I've been saying it all season long. I just want to see him get a shot. I feel like Jay Sean Benjamin didn't really get much of a shot this season. Um, from what I gather, he's staying on the team, but I just feel like I want dudes to get a chance.
I think Sam
And if they don't work out, then they don't work out. I mean, it is what it is. Like maybe Ben Black, maybe he can't make it happen. But we'll never know until we see. So I think that's my big three on offense, and then defense. Jeez, I could have maybe a list of 10 at this point in time. Um,
offense,
uh,
tight
all right,
end too. The tight end
yeah.
actually played
Stop.
well against Penn State.
Stop. I said three. I went three alpha. We can't keep going. That's maybe tight end can be yours. Don't. You're making my brain hurt. Don't let me do that. Uh, on defense, I think. All right, this is going to be crazy. I think number one is who's the leader. I don't even give a shit about position play. Like who is going to be the undeniable leader of the defense? Because there were so many times this past season where bros just couldn't figure out what play it was, who they're defending, where they're supposed to be on the defense, and I mean, Jabome has done great things for Rutgers. We've been pretty tough on him and the linebacking core, just in the defense as a whole. But I just feel like there just wasn't that guy on the defense. The green dot guy. We need the green dot guy on defense who's just going to be like, yo, you're in the wrong spot. Get over here if this is where you need to be. And of course, we want that guy to be, a playmaker too. So I mean, who knows who that's going to be? That they need to figure that out. I mean, hopefully we could find somebody. Maybe Moses Walker comes back and he develops into that player that we really were excited about. I mean, he was our first really big recruit that we stole from Penn State,
Yeah.
and it hasn't really worked out in our favor, but like I know in that moment when we got him from Penn State, that was a huge dub for us because usually, hey, am I going to go to Penn State or am I going to go to Rutgers? It was always an easy choice, and we got him to come. Um, I think number two is the D line. The D line. We just created no pressures the whole season until maybe the last two games where Weaver or was it Eric O'Neill? They finally started, stunting him and getting him off of just lining up and trying to battle his way through a Big Ten tackle. And you saw it work the last 2 3 games. He was creating pressure. We were getting pressure. So I think that that's going to be a big one. Is the defensive line? I mean, we were very undersized at defensive tackle, which did not set our linebackers up for success because obviously, you have offensive linemen that are getting to the second level. I mean, if that occurs, that's a problem. It doesn't matter how good your players are. If an offensive line continually gets to the second level where they outweigh dudes by 30, 40, 50 pounds, it's just maybe once in a while they'll make a good play, but it's not going to be a consistent thing.